Hello everybody, welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast and welcome to another Oxford United match reaction in Sky Bet League One. Oxford United triumph again at home. Another really high scoring game for Oxford United. They win 4-1 against Burton Albion. All the goals in the first half. Second half, maybe not as exciting as that first one, but still a brilliant game of football to watch. And a really significant win for Oxford United, and we speak about it every time we win. We say how important that's going to be, and that's League One for you, with everyone winning and losing around you, and it being so competitive up where we want to get to in those playoff places, in and around that area. It's so important you win, and when you do, it really is quite significant. So Oxford United had to again, and I say this every week, be at their best or close to be at their best if they're going to get anything from these games, because we're playing sides now, and this obviously we haven't got any more Tuesday night games now. It's going to be pretty much Saturdays now until the end of the season, so we do get that bit of rest now between games. But we talk about Tuesday game and we talk about Portsmouth on Tuesday. It wasn't a great result. The performance wasn't awful. I think Portsmouth definitely deserved to win the game, but it was so important that we got a reaction. We got a significant turnaround from that result against Tuesday, and we put things right on Saturday. And Cromson said it himself, and I think it is quite frustrating sometimes as fans when we hear a manager say we've got to dust ourselves down. It's very cliche. It can sometimes frustrate people. Because, again, it's a very cliche thing to say, dust yourselves down and go again in the next one. But it almost was a case of those things. We didn't win on Tuesday. We had to put that behind us. Portsmouth deserved to get the win. They wanted it, I think, more than us, really, in the end. And they did get that deserved win. But it was how Oxford United were going to react. And coming into a game on Saturday and today, like I said, Burton, they haven't been a bad side this season. They have not been a team that's going to, that you're going to steamroll. And I don't think we always thought it was going to be like that. I think, they have been a banana skin for quite a few teams. In this league, so it was always going to be a challenge. It's always going to be, they're always going to pose a threat. In the first half, did they pose a threat? No, not really. Was that Burton's fault necessarily? Not entirely. I just thought Oxford United were absolutely brilliant in that first half, and I was actually watching a lot of the sort of the body language of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, the manager at Burton. I must say as well, who came in last season, did a brilliant job to keep them up, and he's still in charge now. And again, like I said, they're not there again for the size of that football club. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. They're not the biggest of size, but they really are competing with the big boys, and they are, I think still 14th in the league, really in the middle of the pack in League One, and that's a brilliant achievement for a football club like Burton. And and he's done an absolutely brilliant job. He came in last season at a point where I think everyone thought they were going to be dead and buried and relegated, and he came in, he turned that around, he got them to safety, and again this season, like I said, they're having a good one. But watching his body language specifically through the game, and make sure you leave your thoughts in the live chat. Remember, this is live, so give your thoughts in this live chat. I'll be reading out all of your thoughts. Subscribe if you're new as well. I want to hear from you. Massive 3 points for Oxford United in Sky Bet League One this afternoon. Hearing your thoughts is what I love about this live stream, so give your thoughts in there. Remember, if you're watching this as a video as well, you can leave your thoughts in the comments as well. I'll be replying to comments as per usual. It will be going up as a video. But as it is live, I want to make the most of it. But I was watching Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank and watching his body language, because it was interesting actually watching somebody that watching the manager of a side that in the first half really couldn't get a rhythm, and Oxford United were in a groove in that first half really, really well. I thought the way that we play, we were very, very aggressive in the way that we're playing on the front foot, and we know Robinson's sides like to play an aggressive front foot attacking style of play. We always know that he's come in with that philosophy. He plays with that. He sort of expects that really from his players, and again we saw that today. And it was really, really interesting to sort of watch Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, and the frustration he was, and so rightly so, how frustrated he was, because we weren't allowing Burton into the game. We weren't allowing them to really get a foothold and allow them to play the way they would have wanted to play. And again, that can be so frustrating from a manager point of view, because you want your team to play the way you want them to play. And we've seen Burton play this season. They have played some really good football at points, but this season, in this game, they really, really did struggle to get that going. That's a mix of both things. Burton certainly worked their best, and I wouldn't expect that to be at their best at all, as we have seen from some much better result they've got this season. But then also as well, you look at Oxford United and the way that they played. I think they made it so difficult for Burton in the first half. It was wave and it was a relentless attack from Oxford, and we'll look at the momentum graph on SofaScore in just a second. But what I would say is it was so relentless in the way that Oxford were playing. It felt though every time we were going forward we could have a chance, and it was a mix of mistakes, I really think, from Burton. They weren't at their best at all, but we weren't allowing them to get in the game. We stopped them from having any sort of rhythm and gaining any sort of rhythm from them. And it must have been so frustrating. We saw Oxford United just keep going at moments in that first half where you thought we could just sort of sit back and relax, if you like, and then we went for it again. And then we'd score again. And Sam Baldock got 2 goals today. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was unplayable at points, Sam Baldock. And I think he's turned out to be such a good signing for Oxford. And when I brought him in, I didn't sign Sam Baldock, but when Oxford brought him in, I thought I was sort of in the boat of, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued because he's a player that definitely has got a goal-scoring record. He has, got a really good history of scoring goals in the English Football League and across the Football League, really. But again, he's 32 or 33 years old, so you really don't know what you're going to expect from him. And when he came in, I didn't know whether or not how much of an impact he was going to play, how many games he was going to play. But I think he's proven that when he does play and when he is playing, he's such a significant part, a crucial part, and a crucial key in what Oxford United want to try and do. And when he came off injured in that second half, there definitely was a tempo drop, I'd say, in the way that Oxford play, and we couldn't maybe play as fluent, we couldn't play as quick, and the players like Gavin Whyte and Matty Taylor around him, they had a drop off when Sam Baldock came off, and that for me is integral, and he is integral in what we try and do. And unfortunately, he has come off injured with an injury. It seems as though it was a precaution more than anything. But sometimes it does take you to come off and a player to come off to realise how significant they are and how integral they are in a team. You don't really know how important they are until maybe they do come off and maybe they don't play. And I think we saw that a bit similar on Tuesday, really, when we didn't have Mark Sykes. We didn't have him playing. He wasn't playing on Tuesday night, and he comes in today and he plays today. And we saw how important Mark Sykes. Now, we did see when we came forward, the attack, most important, I thought, was a much, I mean, the most, I guess, only word I can use really is better. And it's not a great word, but it was a better. We were playing better going forward, and with Mark Sykes, I was really impressed with the way that he played, and and he's out of contract at the end of the season. I would say, please do sign a contract, Mark Sykes, if you are watching, or if Oxford haven't offered him that contract. I'm presuming they probably have sat down and are talking to Mark Sykes about a potential new deal. Please go and make sure you sign that contract, because if we are playing in the Championship next season, a huge if, I know, but he's a player I think can play Championship football, and as we can see, he can clearly play League One football. So, I really would want to see Mark Sykes sign that sort of contract and get a deal extension from further than the end of the season, because I think he's been brilliant. And I was a little bit unsure with Mark Sykes. I always have been a little bit unsure with him. Really up until this season, even though last season he did play quite a crucial role, especially in the second half of the season. But it was that output, it was that sort of finishing output, and it was the goal output and the goal contribution output that was letting Mark Sykes down. And I thought, this season, more than anything, you can see he's playing in a bit of a different role this season. He's playing sort of, especially the three at the back we're playing. You sort of play as a right wing back or a right midfielder, but he's also got that licensing to go up and play as a winger where he normally plays as well. And he can also cut inside and play as an inverted winger if he needs to. And that's what I love about Mark Sykes. But it was that output for me, and that's what I was a little bit dubious about Mark Sykes going into this season, because are you going to get that output? Are you going to be a League One player that's good at League One but can't really do anything else? And is a very good technically a very good player, but are you going to be able to get those goals and get those assists and get those numbers? Because that's what's going to take you to the next level. That's what's going to take you from being a League One player, a good League One player, and then a potential Championship player. And I think that's the progression that Oxford United are trying to see with a lot of their players. And I think we're seeing this with Mark Sykes this season. It has almost been a breakthrough season. Like I said, even though he was playing last year, you almost feel that this is his breakthrough season, because he's getting those opportunities in different positions, but he's taking chances. He's a very influential player. And I think one thing I would say about Mark Sykes isn't sort of running up on the Sykes thing is, he's integral, and he's proven to be integral when he's not in the team, and he's clearly showing his quality when he is in the team. So really impressed with Mark. So I thought he had another brilliant game again today. Wasn't necessarily his best game he's had all season, but certainly really quite fantastic in the way that, again, he wasn't like outstanding, but it really did show that he's an integral part of this Oxford United side. If you just join us, please leave a like on the stream. Please hit that like button on the stream. Also, give your thoughts on the game in the live chat. I want to hear from you in that live chat. What are your thoughts on the game? Burton fan, Oxford fan, maybe you're not either one of those fans. Give me your thoughts. I'd be really interested to see what you've got to say. I'll be reading out everything that happens in that live chat. I want to sort of always come back to. I want to come back to sort of why I think we were so successful in that first half. I thought we were successful in the second half, and the reason why people say was the second half just not as good. We're forward up at half time, nothing happened in the second half. What I would say is I think Oxford quite rightly maybe took their foot off the gas a little bit. I think it was important that Oxford controlled the game, and it's about game management, and it's about looking at 45 minutes ahead, but also looking at 9 more games ahead of this and going, well, do we need to go all guns blazing for the next 45 minutes? Maybe because we haven't got a Tuesday night game. The argument could be yes, we could, but I think it was one of those where let's not get silly. Let's understand it's 4-1 up. Let's try and hit it in cruise control. Let's not take our foot off the gas completely and throw the game away. But at 4-1, you'd hope that wouldn't happen anyway. And Nat says, evening, boss. How are you, Matt? Nat, were you at the game? Did you listen to the game? What did you think of the game? Give me your thoughts, Nat. How are you doing? Good evening to you as well. And what I would say with going back to I've completely lost the train of thought there. It was sort of the way I sort of my official note was winning the midfield battle, and I think why we won. Oh no, it was the Tuesday night games and could we? Yeah, sorry, I got it now. It was could we maybe have continued with that sort of tempo and that mentality in the second half? And I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? When you haven't got a game on Tuesday, the argument maybe is to yes. But we saw Sam Baldock come off injured, and hopefully that is only a caution thing. But it is important you don't overly do yourself, overly, maybe take it too far in the way that you are 4-1 up going into the second half. Do you need to go and score 5 or 6? It'd be nice, but do you need to? And also, let's put some respect on Burton's name to a certain extent. They weren't brilliant that first half at all. But in the second half, they were much more competitive. And I think the message really probably was from Hasselbank at half time was, this is getting embarrassing now, boys. This is getting really quite embarrassing. We need to make sure that we don't concede more than 4 and we try and get our way back in the game. They made 2 changes at half time. Clearly was not happy. I spoke about the body language of Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank in that first half. Quite rightly fuming with that first half. Although Oxford were very, very good, Burton were allowing Oxford United to gain rhythm in the game. They weren't really stopping it and breaking the game down in any sort of way. If you just joined us, by the way, we've got 7 people watching right now. Please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new as well. And also, most importantly, like Nat has, and he's already getting a live chat, I want to hear from you. Give me your thoughts on the game in the live chat. Really interested to see what you got to say. Every single thing that you put in that live chat, I'll be reading out. We can have a discussion about it. And it's happy days. But no, there's arguments there. I generally, though, in the first half, we put in a good enough performance to sort of see out the second half. But I thought the way that we attacked, the relentless tempo mentality that we went at in that first half, I thought set up for a fascinating second half. And although it didn't maybe prove to be an end-to-end second half that maybe it was in the first half, it didn't need to be. And I think that's what's important. One player I want to highlight as well, Luke McNally. I mean, Luke McNally is having an absolutely sublime season. And I was there. It was a pre-season game at Oxford City, and we lost the game in the end. I think we drew the game, and we might have won it. I think I've gone for all 3 potential results there. But it was a bit of an interest. It was a really quite end-to-end game of football in a game where you thought Oxford United should comfortably win. We didn't, and we made a few changes. And Luke McNally was one of those changes. He came on, and he lost the ball. He got dispossessed straight away from trying to play out from the back. He got dispossessed and they went on and scored. And I thought, I'm not sure about Luke McNally at this point. I know I'm judging it off one pre-season game, but he looked a little bit behind it. He looked a little bit anxious. He didn't look like he was definitely not ready to play as many games he has played this season. And I was thinking maybe it could be a loan move, or maybe he needs another season where he isn't starting. And he has done this season, and he has started a lot of games. There's been injuries, there's been suspensions, there's been all these sort of things, and change of formation, a change of system, and we played a 3 at the back, so he has been really important in that. And I was a little bit dubious on whether or not Luke McNally was able to play the amount of games he was going to play, and he has ended up playing. He didn't look comfortable at that point. But he's proved me very, very wrong, and he's proved me, and I'm delighted to be proved wrong, because he's such an important asset to the way that we play, especially at this 3 at the back system, the system we're currently playing with. The way that he runs with the ball as well is similar to Rob Atkinson. I think Rob Dickey is, but I know Rob Atkinson certainly did it. Get hold of the ball and run at players. I thought all of our centre-backs did that today, but Luke McNally did it more than most. Luke McNally had Sam Long had a really good run in that first half. In particular, he got hold of the ball and ran. And for some reason, when you run as a centre-back and you run straight through the middle, no one seems to tackle you. It's a strange thing because of that. I mean, the other players are marking the potential passes, and there's almost a form of a straight line is sort of created, and the players just run run straight through it because you've got players and the opposition marking those potential men that they could pass to. They don't need to pass because there's almost a brilliant pathway where they can run into it. And Sam Long, like I said, did it in that first half as well, straight through the middle. But Luke McNally did it on multiple occasions, and what he creates and what that does is it creates space, it starts an attack, and it causes problems. And I think although defending is the most important thing for a centre half, of course it is, but what they can offer, and with the three as well, they're given that licensing to be able to do that, because they know that if they go and if they do lose the ball, and Luke McNally did lose the ball, I think probably twice out of the 4 times he did it, but what he did know, and when he did that, is there was going to be protection behind him. He's got Sam Long, he's got Kieran Brown behind him, he's got Ryan Williams or Mark Sykes as well that can cover in and sort that out necessarily, if you like. And so it's not necessarily that huge pressure when something that does happen. Maybe he doesn't lose the ball, but it's worth the risk. It's worth taking that opportunity to run it and cause problems. And he's quick as well. He's tall, he's quick, brilliant in the air as well. And he's a really, really quite good defender. I think they're speaking about it on the radio. We've got a really good track record of bringing in defenders and bringing in players, especially at centre-back from a lot of teams. We did it with Rob Dickey. We did it with technically with Elliot Moore as well, who stayed at the club. Rob Atkinson, who's ended up going to Bristol City. And now with Luke McNally. He looks like the real deal. And the reason why I mentioned that Oxford City game at the start is he looked really, really nervous. He looked like he looked like he definitely could not have that confidence to play the amount of games played in Sky Bet League One this year. And certainly not have the confidence to, in those league games, play the way he's playing with the confidence he's playing. Thought defensively as well. I mean, he can sometimes be a little bit, not rash, but I think he can sometimes dive in at points. But I thought his sliding tackles today, I thought were absolutely time to perfection. I was really, really impressed with Luke McNally. And I'm excited to see more of Luke McNally. And hopefully he isn't a player that ends up going in the summer. If we do go up, and like I said, it's a big if. But if he is, try and keep him at the football club. Even if we don't go up, can we keep him for another year? Because he looks like a really, really talented player who looks like he's only going to get better. And he's only, 22 years of age. So he's, like I said, he's only going to develop more and more. We've got a good track record of bringing in defenders, especially at this age, who get an opportunity and turn out to be really, really good centre-halves. And Luke McNally looks another player sort of in that pipeline, if you like. And I'm so impressed with the way that he played today. I thought he added a really, really different edge to Oxford. And with this three at the back and with this new system we're trying to play, I think he fits that brilliantly. So impressive, Luke McNally. Fair play to him. Right, I want to take over to the sofa score because I want to sort of bring back, not player ratings necessarily, but I want to sort of give my thoughts on the individual players and the system that we played. That's full screen. Can we go to this screen and then this screen? So, yeah, I mean, we'll look at the momentum graph first and foremost. You saw in that first half, Burton did have their moments, but generally it's dominated by Oxford. And in the second half, it's slightly more even, you'd say, but still Oxford United had their moments. But looking back at that first half, very much Oxford, very much in control, and very, very dominating. And again, when you have a first half like that and you end up scoring 4 goals in that first half, and I said, we had a few chances at the start and we didn't actually score straight away. You can see there, we only scored 1 goal, sort of in that big patch of the first half. And I said, if we need to make sure we double this lead, we need to go and score 2 or 3 in this first half, because the second half won't be like that. You do not want to go into this sort of game only 1-0 up at half time with the chance they've had, because Burton then start to believe, and in the second half you can definitely turn things around. And this league is so unpredictable. It's proved to be unpredictable since the start of it. So we had to make sure we made the most of this domination and made the most of these chances, because you're not going to get that many chances in the second half, as we saw. Prime example of that. So going in and making sure that when we did have those chances, we took them, was so important. But we'll look at this system as well and the way that we played. I love this front three we've got going on here. And you can see all 3 of them got the goal, and Sam Baldock ended up getting 2. And the way that they play and the way that as a 3 they work so well, I love it. I think it's such a good a way of playing. And again, we're seeing it creates a different edge. It creates a different side of Oxford. It's a different problem for an opposition. And I love Sam Baldock. I love Matty Taylor, and both of which complement each other really, really well. But Sam Baldock, I mean, today, he's unplayable. For a lad that maybe isn't 6 or 7 foot, he certainly does hold at the ball. He is a physical presence. He is something different. He's got a brilliant finish on him as well. And he just is a very, very confident striker. And you can see in this game, 2 goals, and the goals he scored, he's got a header for the first goal that only just crept over the line. Arguments to say he could have another goal as well, because apparently it was offside, it was given offside, and then the linesman went flagged it offside. The referee went over to the linesman. It's quite a strange one to watch, really. It was almost like I was in a stadium with VAR, which is something I don't want to experience, really. And I sort of had a minor taste of VAR then, even though we didn't get to see a replay. And in the end, obviously, he went with the linesman's decision, and it wasn't a goal. But really impressed with Sam Baldock. Physical presence was brilliant, and the finishing of Sam Baldock again was quality. With Gavin Whyte as well, the amount of chances he's had of this season, and he hasn't taken them, and he hasn't got his first goal of the season. A chance that today, an absolutely skyrocketing goal for his first goal of the season, the second of the game. Absolutely brilliant finish, and he hasn't had a lot of chances. He has had quite a few chances that are much easier than that one, but in the end, he's got a brilliant goal, and hopefully that's the moment for Gavin Whyte. I feel like that's a really significant moment for him this year, and even though there is 9 games left of the season, you feel that he can really kick on now and be a really crucial player. And although he has been a crucial player, but a crucial player in terms of output, you'd say, with the goals and the assists, because he's getting an assist. He got another, was it 1 assist or 2 assists today? I know, 1 assist today and the goal. We know how important he is. He's got those assists. He needed that goal. He took his goal very, very well today. A brilliant strike, and he gets that, and that's massive for him. So I was really quite impressed with the way that we approached the game today, and the way that, like I said, come back to that front three, the way those three work together so well. Mark Sykes have already touched on Luke McNally, we touched on Cameron Brannagan and Herbie Kane. Again, it wasn't one of those, both of those get 2 players really their best games of football, but again they dominated the game really well through the midfield. They definitely didn't let Burton sort of get a sniff in that midfield. And we speak about winning a game, and where do you win games, and where are games won and lost? Well, they're won and lost in the midfield. It's a very common saying in football, and it's not wrong at all. And again, they made sure that Burton didn't win that midfield battle. They made sure that Oxford won that midfield battle, and that then allowed us to go on and express ourselves going forward, be much more aggressive on the front foot, create those different chances, create the issues and the problems of the opposition in an attacking sense. And again, those 2 are crucial in doing that. They didn't score a worldie today. None of them did. Neither of them did, but it was really important that they did win that battle, be an issue, and cause a problem. I still think Herbie Kane, he did get an assist in the game as well, so fair play to him, and he deserves that because he's been brilliant this season, and he was brilliant again today. Matthew Bass says, sorry I am late. Great results. Hope that Baldock injury isn't too bad. From what I'm hearing, Matthew, no worries at all for being late, by the way. From what I'm hearing, Matthew, it is not a serious injury. I believe it was precaution. So I think it was one of those where you're 4-1 up at the time, and you can see it. You're 4-1 up at the time, you look to your bench, you've got Sam Winnell, and, you like I said, you're 4-1 up. Why risk it for a player like Sam Baldock, who, he maybe is in the slight twilight of his career, but ultimately, he's a very significant player. He's proven to be integral this season. So why waste why waste a player like that, and end up him getting furtherly injured or whatever? You might as well make that decision, and you can see why. Maybe it was a 1-0 or 0-0, or you're losing the game, for example. Maybe you would try and keep some Baldock and maybe take a risk in that sense. But if you're winning the game 4-1, you've dominated the game, you look in control for the first 5 minutes of the second half again. Why would you? Why would you keep a player like Sam Baldock on? So I can see why he did that. So Samuel came on and pretty much got half of football. I don't want to touch on the negatives really. Samuel could have scored a goal. I think it was going to be his 100th goal of his career or something like that. So it would have been it was a big chance for him, and he could have got that sort of milestone goal for him for his personal career. I think. I want to go back to Sam Baldock. I think when he comes in, and when he did come in now, I think he's showing the quality and the class he's got. And I think if you're a player like Sam Winnell, or even like Matty Taylor, you're still looking up to someone like Sam Baldock, because again he looks like a really good player. It sounds strange because we've got 3 strikers now that are over 30 in Sam Winnell, Matty Taylor, and Baldock. But you look at Sam Baldock and you go, yeah, he's a very good striker. And I'm not saying the other 2 aren't. Matty Taylor's been, Matty Taylor, 20 goals this season, so there's no point in saying, he's a brilliant number 9. But those 2 together work so well, and I think you're seeing another striker come into Oxford United and be brilliant. And I like Sam Baldock and I like Matty Taylor. Together they work really well. And I think if you're Matty Taylor and you're Sam Winnell, you're looking at Sam Baldock and going, and it's brilliant for competition for places as well. If you're Sam Baldock, you're Sam Winnell, Sam Winnell or Matty Taylor, you're looking at Sam Baldock and going, like, he's scoring goals. He's scoring a lot of goals, and now Matty Taylor goes, well, I need to go and score a goal, and he does. So you've got that competition for place, and they're both going to be competitive with the amount of goals they're going to score and want to score. And that's what's brilliant about it, and that's what I love about it, is you've got that sort of competitivity for players and for places. You've got someone like Nathan Holland, doesn't make the bench, so doesn't make the starting lineup again today, but he comes on and he wants to be in this starting lineup. Where does he fit? Does he play with behind the two strikers instead of Gavin Whyte? Well, based on Gavin Whyte's performance, he probably doesn't. Does he come in for Ryan Williams and Mark Sykes? Does he have the discipline to play those roles? Because I think Ryan Williams and Mark Sykes are not wingers anymore. That they are wing backs, or that they're wide midfielders. They play a very, very unique role now. So can Nathan Holland come in and play that role? He'll think so, and he'll probably try and think he can. And, he came on, I think he played it up front in the game. Is he going to play up front? Well, you're looking at Sam Baldock, you're looking at Matty Taylor, both scored a goal today. Baldock with 2, both very, very good performances. Are you going to come in from there? So it's so interesting. You've got James Henry, doesn't make the bench today through injury. You've got Marcus Brown, who's also injured. You've got a lot of players still to play and still wanting to be in the starting 11. Now, you can't fit them all in. You can't fit them all in. You wouldn't change Ryan Williams, Herbie, Kane, Brannagan and Sykes across that front four. That middle four. I wouldn't change that four at all. And based on the performance today, I wouldn't change Gavin Whyte, I wouldn't change Matty Taylor, and I certainly wouldn't change Sam Baldock. Maybe with the defence, you probably would bring in Elliot Moore back in, where you probably play him instead of Kieran Brown and play Kieran Brown, Log and McNally. And further than that, that's probably what it'd go. The only change I probably would go is Elliot Moore for Brown. And Brown didn't have a bad game either. I thought he looked solid. His last 2 performances, he's looked really good as well. And definitely growing in confidence. So you've got a lot of players. An exciting time for Oxford. An exciting time both on, but in this case on the pitch. Sorry, off, and in this case on the pitch, where you've got players still looking to come into the starting 11. You saw how good Marcus Brown was, by the way, on Tuesday against Portsmouth. He was absolutely brilliant on Tuesday. And, does he come straight into the side based on that one performance? I don't know. You probably would start after Tuesday say he probably deserves to keep his spot. Now you're looking after Saturday, and that's how quick things can change. You're now looking at Saturday, and you're looking at the result yesterday, and you're going, well probably not. You've got Gavin Whyte that can play there. You probably would try and play with both Matty Taylor and Marcus Brown up front. It worked well on Tuesday. But then Sam Baldock comes in and scores 2. You get the idea. You get the picture. You know what I'm trying to say. It's an exciting time, and you've got a lot of players that, and the moral of the story is you've got a lot of players that ultimately want one thing, and that's to be a part of a successful team and a successful football club. And that's the most important thing. We'll talk about bringing the right personalities as well. Now, again, I don't know these players or all of these players as of individual people. I don't know that, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. But what I can tell you is they all look together very unified. And again, that's going to be really important now as we hit this business end of the season. We've got Saturday to Saturday now for 9 games. We haven't got Tuesday night games. So it is now really important that the training, and I trust that the training is going to be really, really, really strict now, week in, day out. I imagine it always is, but it's difficult when you've got a Tuesday in there because Wednesdays are more of a recovery session. Mondays is a strange one because I don't think they train on the Sunday. They might do, but I don't think you train on Sunday. I think Monday's the first time you come back in after a game on Saturday. Then you're looking at Saturday's game normally, and then you're looking at also preparing for Tuesday's game. So the sort of the structure and the way that you structure things, that now doesn't have to happen with the Tuesday games now not happening, and you are now going Saturday to Saturday. You have that right preparation. I think Carlton mentioned on the system thing. So could you go back to a 4-3-3 at moments in the game? Because I don't think the 3 at the back is every game. I think that the beauty of changing the formation is it does create different avenues. You can do different things. So I think that's really, really exciting. And I come back to the same point. It's an exciting time for Oxford. It's an exciting time for Oxford on the pitch. It's a brilliant win again today. We needed a reaction after Tuesday. We needed a reaction after what ended up being a performance that wasn't awful, but it looked like the opposition wanted it more in Portsmouth. Today, in front of 7,500 people, you prove again that at home, you're a fantastic side. In the first half in particular, I thought Oxford United were absolutely sublime. And again, really, really exciting stuff. Right, we've got a lot of people here in the live chat. By the way, please give me your thoughts as these people are doing. I'm going to go through all of these different things. And please also leave a like on the stream as well. If you haven't left a like, it's so important you leave a like. Please do so. It's free to do so. If you haven't also subscribed as well, we're 1 subscriber away. I think we haven't hit it yet. I'll double check. I don't think we've hit 120 subscribers just yet. Sorry, 920 subscribers just yet. So if we haven't, please do so. We are still 1 away. If you haven't subscribed, 1 away from 920. Big milestone. Please go and hit that. Anyway, I'm going to go through these different chats here. Matthew Brown says, great news. Any news on when Bowen is back? Should be back in training on Monday. So he should be back for the Shrewsbury game next week. Matthew, that's what I'm hearing from the football club. Nat says Oxford look impressive. We do look impressive, Nat. Thank you very much. We did look good today. We did look good today. You watched on Tuesday, you probably would have seen it maybe at our best, but I think today we did look really good, particularly in that first half. I feel like in the last few weeks our real quality in squad depth has come to light more than ever. Loving the look of our squad at the moment, Matthew. Very, very good point. Very good point. I think that's a sublime point. I think our squad depth is proving crucial, and we've always been very, very critical at points in Oxford United's squad depth, and when we do have to change things, and when we do have to, we do have injuries, we do have suspensions. You look at, I want to paint this picture for you, Oxford fans. I tell you that last season you've got at this point in the season you've got James Henry out. I know we didn't have Bowden last season, but you've got a player of Bowden's quality out. You've got a player of Marcus Brown's quality out. You've got Elliot Moore out. You've got those players out. Last season, I know we didn't have two of those players last season anyway. If you could sort of clone them into players we did have last season, of that quality, should we say, would we be as successful, or could we be as successful, and could we go into games like we did today and be as comfortable and be as free-flowing as we were in that first half and dominate a game as we did across that 90 minutes? Definitely not. Definitely not. If you didn't have someone like, for example, last season, Matty Taylor couldn't score a goal without James Henry, it felt at times. I know he could, and that's a slight exaggeration. But you did feel at times James Henry and Matty Taylor were such a good partnership. They're almost inseparable on the pitch. So you tell me when you didn't have James Henry, there were moments where we did really struggle. But we're able to complement that. We're able to be able to use that squad depth. And I think that's a really good point. Its squad, and with that squad depth we're able to play and do that so well. So I was really impressed with Oxford United in that sense. And I think Matthew, you bring a great point with that about that squad depth. I think it's really important that you do have that squad depth, and it's successful when and it has proven to be a success. Yeah. Matthew Bell says the only place we can improve is a spare centre-back, but our attack seems to be cancelling out the need for one, to be honest. Hang on, I'll read that point again. I want to switch over to this screen again. Sorry, Matthew. Let's read your point again. The only place we can improve is a spare centre-back, but our attack seems to be cancelling out the need for one at the moment. Yeah, I get that point. I get that point. Maybe in squad depth, to be fair, the three at the back, I think we're lucky to have Sam Long be able to play as a centre-back, and he's playing as sort of a centre-back as well. I think when you look at it from face value, you sort of think he maybe could be a right centre-back, but he's actually playing as a central centre-back, which is really fascinating. I think it is working really well. So yeah, I think we're really enjoying this sort of way of playing at the moment, and with the likes of Sam Long being able to come in. And by the way, can you give your man of the matches in the live chat as well? Whether you watch the game, listen to it, or whatever, you got any questions on the game, keep giving your thoughts in. I'm intrigued to see what you've got to say. But no, I think it's really, and also leave a like as well, please. We've got a few people watching. I think we get it up to 10 likes. Also, like I said, we're one subscriber away from 920. So if you haven't subscribed, please be that one man that gets it. And we have done that, or woman, of course. 920, we just hit 920 subscribers. Thank you very much to the person that did that. And we can also go up to 921. There's no stopping us there. But no, I get what you mean, Matthew. But we're scoring a lot of goals, and we have conceded goals. We conceded a goal today. It was a little bit frustrating. I know that Carl Robinson was frustrated. I know I was frustrated as well. It's another long-range goal. We conceded. We conceded one on Tuesday. We see another one today. That needs to be cut out. Players on the edge of the box seem to be having way too much space and able to hit it. It was a brilliant strike, and it was a brilliant strike on Tuesday, and a really good strike again today. But it really is possible to stop. It really is something that you can't really necessarily stop the power of the strike at all. That comes down to the individual hitting it, but you certainly can close him down. And there's areas and segments of the pitch that sort of defensive third of the pitch where you definitely can close a man down, and you definitely can stop a shot from coming in. So it is frustrating, and that can be done. So yeah, David Jones, Bolton still in with a shout. Yes, Bolton are still in for a shout. They will beat Gillingham today, I want to say. I think I predicted them to draw that game. I think they won comfortably in the end. Of course, the roundup will be coming out tomorrow, as always. Matt says, Baldock for sure. He showed his quality. Yeah, I see why Baldock is man of the match. I personally would go with Luke McNally. And I think that does come. I'm going to be honest. I think that does come down to watching him play and watching the game. Matthew, I don't know. Did you watch the game or listen to the game or follow the game? But Matthew, if I'm going to be honest and presume, I think Baldock, no, don't get me wrong, Baldock had a brilliant game, but Luke McNally was one of those games where the stats won't necessarily do him justice, because I think he did have a brilliant game, and the way that he came out and he started things and defensively looked very, very solid and almost controlled the back three, really. I think that's why he probably won't get sort of as much of a praise as Baldock will. Baldock got 2 goals or whatever it was, so he's going to get that high rating. He's going to get that high praise, and so he should. By the way, I'm not taking anything away from Sam Baldock. He had a brilliant game of football, and he is proven to be so significant in what we're trying to do, and this new system and the way that Carlson's trying to play. But I think Luke McNally and the way that he plays, I think that does it almost is one of those where you have to watch the game and moments of the game that maybe aren't as as exciting to follow through different aspects of it. But I 100% agree, Matthew. I don't necessarily think you're wrong at all. I think we really were brilliant, and I thought Baldock was brilliant as well. If you haven't given your man of the match, as Matthew's given his, so please do give your man of the match, all of you, because I think it's really interesting. I'd give mine to Luke McNally. We haven't done player ratings in a while, and I think a lot of people have asked, could we do a player ratings? Could we do sort of a similar player rating start? I used to do it back in the day, and then we didn't really end up doing it. I'm going to do mine, and feel free to follow along, give your thoughts, what you give to these different players. Because I think the player rating is interesting, and we'll be doing it for Oxford. And I sort of give mine. I've got SofaScore's ratings here as well, but some of them are a little bit off. Jack Stevens, I probably would give him a 7. I'd give Jack Stevens a 7. I thought it was good. The shots he had, a lot of the shots were down the throat. Didn't make an outstanding save in the game, but didn't need to. Could do nothing for the goal. I think 7's fair for Jack Stevens. Luke McNally, I'd give him an 8 or an 8.5. I would probably give Luke, maybe even a 9, but I'll go 8.5 for Luke McNally. I thought he had a brilliant game. 8.5 for Luke. For Sam Long, I'll give him a 7. Give Sam Long a 7. He wasn't at fault for the goal. I don't think anyone was really, other than maybe the midfield closing him down. But I'd give Sam Long a 7 in the game. I thought he looked good. I thought he played out the back really well. He playing as a central of the back three. I think he controls that really well, along with Luke McNally at points. I think he looks really good. The way that he came out, and he can pass out from the back three as well. He looks comfortable. He looks confident. I like Sam Long. He's a player that's been here a long time, and he knows how much it means to play for Oxford United. And I think you can see that now, playing as in a back three. Who'd have thought it? But he looks really good. I give Sam Long a 7. Kieran Brown, I want to probably give him a 7 as well. But I mean, there were moments, there are moments where he sort of does things you go, oh, I could have done that a little bit better. But it was similar to today. I probably would give Kieran Brown, if I could, a 6.5/7. I'd give him around that score. Probably was the yeah, that's harsh. I'd give him a 6.57. I would give him a 6.57. I don't think he put a foot wrong, really. A few things where he sort of, absolutely shanked out the pitch, where he maybe could have done a little bit better with it. But other than that, I wouldn't be too harsh on him. Mark Sykes, to give him an 8. I thought he looked really good. Wasn't his best game he's ever played, but I thought 8 out of 10 for Mark Sykes is fair. I thought he looked really good. Maybe that's a bit high. You can tell I haven't thought he's free before this. I'm sort of maybe I'll give my explanation and then give him a score. Sort of convincing myself to go either way. But I thought Mark Sykes was brilliant. I thought he looked really good. I thought his work rate, you can never fault Mark Sykes' work rate. His position looking more and more like his own. Like I said, we've already spoken about it. He looks like he's coming in now and playing a pivotal role in Oxford United. And the way that we want to try and play, I thought he looked great in that position this afternoon. Really impressive, Mark Sykes, as well. I've got some more people coming in giving their thoughts. Matthew Bell says, I listen, mate, but I totally understand why you would give it to... I listen, mate, but I totally understand why you'd give it to McNally, mate. It's quality. And yeah, I'm purely choosing it off what I listen to. Yeah, I'm not criticising that, Matthew, at all. I think it's one of those where listening to the game and following the game, you would give it to Baldock. You would. But I think watching the game, I think Luke McNally's that sort of different... was a little bit different. But that's all I'd say. But I don't necessarily think that it was wrong to give it to Baldock. 7 points separates 11th from 5th. 7 points separate 11th from 5th, or to play for. Yes, it is definitely what to play for, mate. Very tight. Very tight league. A lot of teams trying to get out of it. And a lot of teams trying to push into those top 6 places. So it is very competitive. Matt says, what a son Luke McNally has been, by the way. 100%. I don't know if you were here, Matthew, at the start when I said that I watched Luke McNally play in a pre-season friendly at the start of the season, and he looked a little bit. It definitely didn't look like the player he is now. And I think the way that he's developed, and that's come through Carlson, giving him that opportunity, giving him the time, giving him, most importantly, the opportunity in the starting 11 places, and playing in this formation, and playing in the side week in, week out, playing important games week in, week out. That's what's developed him most importantly. And that's what we've seen develop a Rob Atkinson. And when people say, why is it that Rob Atkinson and Rob Dickey have gone on to have really good, gone on and made a move to the Championship or look so good in Oxford United's squad, I think a lot of it comes down to having an opportunity and be given responsibility. And I think that comes down to having the chance to play a lot of football and play week in, week out and go, you might be 22. You might have not played professional football before in your life. You might have just played semi-professional football. Rob Atkinson came from Eastleigh or from Luke McNally came from Ireland. And, it wasn't, I don't think it was professional football there. I think it might have been. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I don't know though. I don't think it was. I don't think it was sort of. It might have been professional football, but I don't think it was week in, week out training Monday to Friday. I don't think it was that. So to make that transition is difficult. I remember Luke McNally. I think it came out that he was a little bit homesick. It was a difficult time for him because he moved from Ireland. He moved from his family home in Ireland, and he moved to Oxford. He moved to England, and that transition is difficult. And when you have a sort of a difficult pre-season, a tough pre-season, and not many opportunities when he first came in last year, it was going to be difficult. But he's been given opportunity. He's been given responsibility, and that has to come down to the credit of Carl Robinson. I haven't mentioned Carl Robinson a lot in this episode, but what I would say is I thought he did really well in the way that he plays. I think we don't need to give Carl Robinson more credit than he gets. He gets it every single week, and so he should do. I think he's a brilliant manager, and we play a brilliant style of play, and we're doing a very, very good job at the moment. So that's why I probably haven't mentioned him enough. But look, Luke McNally's been brilliant, and Luke McNally is a player that's been transitioned but nurtured so well. And that's not just Carl Robinson, that's the staff, that's the football club, that's the inner football club, that's because again, footballers are human beings, and they have to create and they have to pass these transitions, and they have to get over these bridges, or these metaphorical bridges, and you've got to go over these different hurdles, these different obstacles, and people don't take into consideration moving from one country, your hometown, and to another place, and making a big step and going not playing. I think it's the same with Oshin Smith. We signed in January. He hasn't played before. He hasn't trained on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday every single day. He hasn't done that before. He probably trains twice a week. You probably play on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. You play on the Saturday. But other than that, you're not training every single time. You're not in the Oxford United or in a football building all the time. So when you make that transition, it is difficult. But he's been given that opportunity, McNally. He's been given an opportunity and a responsibility, and it comes down to Carl Robinson. It comes down to the coaching staff. Like I said, the people behind the scenes, the staff. And that's so well. And he's proven to be a brilliant signing. I think, like I said, I hope he continues to stay at the club because he's one of those players I really have been impressed with. It's like Oshin Smythe. He was part-time at Ireland. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to mean. That's what I'm trying to say. It's similar. It's exactly the same. It's like Oshin Smythe. He was part-time at Ireland. Phil Oxford United taking an educated gamble that he could make the switch and really flourish at League One level and above. Exactly my point. Exactly your point, Matthew. You basically summed up what I'm saying in words. It's about that educational gamble. I think is the best way of putting it. It's about making the sensible decision, but again, that has to be spot on. That has to be right. You have to make that right decision, and you have to. It's probably not as simple as this, but you've got to weigh up the pros and cons. You've got to weigh up the possible positives of a move like this and the positives of a gamble like this, and not. And if it's too much of a gamble, the chances are you probably don't make the signing. But if you feel there's a real potential, there's a real chance there to be successful, I think that's really important. So yeah, I'm excited by this, and I think hopefully Luke McNally does stay at the football club because I think he's a brilliant player. And he's proven this season to be sublime at playing at this level. I think that's what's really important with what we try and do moving forward. I think it's continue these educated gambles because they're working. They really are. Yeah, I think that's exactly that point. Where did we get to on the player ratings, by the way? Mark Sites, yeah, give him an 8 out of 5, 8 give him an 8 out of 10 today. Cam Brannagan, going to give him a 7. I thought he was steady. Didn't have an amazing game, but had a good game and not a bad game at all. And Cam Brannagan, a 7 out of 10 for him's fair. Herbie Kane, I give him a 7 as well. Got an assist for the goal, but I give him a 7 as well. Ryan Williams, a quiet game from Ryan Williams. From Ryan Williams afternoon. Yeah, I'd probably give him a 6.5. 6.5. I think 6 is average, isn't it? I'd probably give him a 6 to be fair. I love Ryan Williams. I think he's been brilliant since he's come in. He's playing this position really well. He's playing in this system well. He's been given an opportunity to play in this role. And he's doing it brilliantly well. But it wasn't an outstanding game for him today. It wasn't a bad game, but I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Gavin Whyte, I'd give him an 8. I gave Gavin Whyte an 8 today. I thought he was brilliant. Got an assist. He got a goal. I thought he did really, really well. And I love it when he gets his back to goal, gets his back to the attacking third, and he spins and he turns. I mean, from I don't know which goal it was, but he got out of a really, really tight space with from the Bolton midfielders. It was getting crammed out, and he used his brilliant dribbling ability to turn out, create space, and pass it. I think it was out to Mark Sykes. So I thought Gavin Whyte had a brilliant game today. Got that really, really important goal for him personally, and a great assist as well. 8 out of 10 for Gav. For Matty Taylor, I'd give him a 7.5. He got a goal. Other than the goal, nothing much else, but a really important goal for Matty Taylor. I'd give him a 7.5. And finally, Sam Baldock, I've probably got to give him a little bit lower than Luke McNally because I've already said I'm going to give him man of the match. I think I gave Luke McNally 8.5. You know what? It probably would be as close. I probably would say Sam Baldock is 8.5 as well. I probably would say they both get a score. They probably both could get a 9 to be fair, but I'd slightly edge towards Luke McNally in the game. Maybe a little bit because Luke McNally did 90 minutes, but when Sam Baldock did play him, the 51 minutes he did play, he was brilliant, and he was a brilliant player this afternoon, and such an integral part of what we tried to do in the attacking area. So yeah, I think that's fair. Says, also, can you clear something up for me, mate? Is Holland on loan to buy or just a loan? He's on loan. Just on loan, mate. Just on loan. From what I know, I think it's a loan deal. But what I would say is that if I'm not wrong, and you bring up an interesting point, I'm going to research here, look it up. I think Nathan Holland's out of contract at the end of the season at West Ham. So I think if we want to bring Nathan Holland in on a permanent deal, we could bring him up on a free transfer if obviously West Ham don't offer him a new contract. Let's have a look at this here on Transfer Market here. Contract expires, 2022. His loan contract finishes on the 31st of May 2022, and his West Ham contract finishes on the 30th of June 2022. So he is out of contract in the summer, depending on what West Ham do. If they offer him a new contract, obviously, if we want to bring him on again, it will be a loan deal in what we want to try and do there. But if we want to bring Nathan Holland in permanently, then we can do if they don't give him a new contract because he's out of contract. No, from what I understand, it is just a simple loan. It wouldn't be. I don't think it would be a buy option because he is out of contract when that loan, pretty much when the loan contract ends. Mate, that's 920 subscribers hit, 80 to go, mate. It is 80 to go. It's exciting. We're growing really, really quickly at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant. That comes down to you. Thank you very much, by the way. Thank you so much for the support on the channel. If you're a subscriber that's watched a lot of the content recently or all these sort of things, then you're amazing. And again, today we've hit 120. I think I woke up today, we were on, I keep saying 120, 920 today. I think I woke up this morning, we're on 913. I think we're on 112 last night. So, we're gaining, lots of subscribers daily, and it's been absolutely brilliant. And even in times like this, even in match reactions for Oxford against Burton, you're getting, a consistent viewing of 12, 13 people watching live, and that's what's brilliant about it. That's what is community, and that's what sort of the community. I don't want to sound arrogant, but we've created and I've created by creating the content, and you've come along as well, and we've created from an I to a we, and we've created this amazing sort of community in what we try and do. And there's probably going to be people here that are watching or that probably aren't Oxford fans or maybe aren't Burton fans either. Probably I've got a Bolton fan in here. I think we've got 2 Bolton fans here that are watching the stream even for an Oxford match reaction, and that's what I want to try and create, this sort of discussion. And we've got a roundup coming out tomorrow, by the way, as well. That'll be normal. We'll be running up on some fascinating games in League One this weekend. Bolton winning again. Charlton drawing with Sunderland. I think that's 0-0. Don't think we'll break that game down too much. Sounds like a bit of a boring one. But I have to look at that. I don't know that for sure. But no, that's what I love about it. So if you haven't left a like, you haven't subscribed, please do that. But most importantly, just thank you really, because like I say, I don't get to do these lot of live. I do get live episodes probably normally like once a week if I do that. So when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm probably going to do sort of like a bit of a special episode, probably like a live stream celebrating what we've done, because we've come a long way in 2 years. I don't want to get emotional, don't get the tissues out, but we have come a long way in 2 years, and we've not even 2 years yet. It's under that, but we've developed quite a lot. The live streams. Matthew was the first person we had come on the live streams. He's still here now. Over a year later. it's brilliant. So thank you, everybody. And a great win again today. A fantastic Oxford United win. And we go again next week against Shrewsbury. Really exciting stuff. And it was important we got a reaction today. Really important we got a reaction today. Really important that we got back on track, because the Portsmouth result was frustrating. But we needed to get back into winning ways. We continue. Before we go quickly, I'll quickly get the league table up. Let's get it to this screen here. You can see Oxford United. No, we can't. Where is it? Here we go. You can see Oxford United still in fourth in the league. Fourth in the league for Oxford United. MK Dons won again today, by the way. MK Dons on fire, by the way. Beating Rotherham. League leaders beating Rotherham there. And they're closing down those top 2 places really, really well, MK Dons. Oxford United on 37 points. They have played the most games out of everyone in that top 6. Pretty much the most out of everyone. Most people, really. We've played the most amount of games other than... us and Burton and Doncaster. And there must be someone else. Doncaster, us... No, and Oxford have all played 37 games. But other than that, everyone else sort of played 35, 36. But no, we're in a really good place, really good position. Technically 6 points safe. So even with the games handled with the teams around us, Sheffield Wednesday got 2 on us, and Wickham have got 1. But even with those, you sort of trust that Oxford can continue. If we win and we continue with the form that we're on, you trust that we are in a nice place, we are in a comfortable place. And we've got a big game against Shrewsbury on Saturday, who drew again today, 0-0 to Cambridge. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fascinating. Exciting time. Lots of things happening. So, thank you, everybody that's watched. Thank you, everybody that's tuned in this afternoon and this evening. You deserve it, mate. Great channel. David, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. I really, really do. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of your weekend. Of course, I'll speak to you in the comment section through the game on... tomorrow for the roundup tomorrow. Really, really do appreciate all of your people giving your thoughts in the live chat. It's been absolutely brilliant. Until next time, stay safe, take care. I'll see you all very, very soon. I've been Jack. It's been the Young Fan Podcast, and I'll see you all very, very soon. And see you in a bit.